Good morning, my dear children. Welcome to today's virtual session of 8th Standard Civics. Let us begin today's session with a very beautiful quote. Successful and unsuccessful people do not vary greatly in their abilities. They vary in their desire to reach their potential. Children, knowing and believing in your own potential can be part of your journey to being successful. If you start to believe in yourself and your potential more, you can become more motivated to prove yourself. When you think you can't reach your potential, you may not even try. Children, yesterday I introduced the topic the Union Executive. In this topic, still now, you have come to know about the structure of our Union government. The Union government means the central government, and the Union government, the president is the constitutional head. It is divided into two parts, that is legislature and executive. Legislature is also divided into two parts, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, they are associated or they are there in executive. Children, also you have come to know that India's Union Executive comprises of the President, Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. President, according to the provision in the Constitution of India, the President is the supreme head of the state. The office of the President has the highest honor and prestige, and it represents the Republic of India. Then I discussed about the election of the President. You came to know that the President is indirectly elected by the people of India. The common people do not vote in the election of the President. He is elected directly, elected representatives of the central and state legislatures. The group of these parliamentarians and members of the state legislature is known as the Electoral College. The tenure of the president is 5 years, and the person contesting the presidential elections should be an Indian citizen whose age should be at least 35 years. Then you came to know the powers and functions of the president. Acha, here I have discussed about that the responsibility of protecting the constitution is shouldered by the president, but if any act of president violates the constitution, then the parliament has the authority to remove the president, and this process is known as process of impeachment. Children, you came to know the powers and functions of the president, that the president summons the meetings of the parliament. Without his signature the bill cannot be a law. President appoints the Prime Minister and other ministers on the recommendation of Prime Minister. The President appoints the judges of the Supreme Court and High Court. The President is the Commander in Chief of the Armed Forces, And also, the President has the power to declare emergency in case of a crisis situation arising in the country. Today, I would like to discuss about Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. The President is the constitutional head. However, in reality, his powers are nominal, and the Prime Minister, along with his Council of Ministers, is responsible for the administration. We will now see the role and functions of the Prime Minister. The party which attains a majority in elections nominates their leader as the Prime Minister. The Council of Ministers is then formed of trustworthy colleagues from within the party. The Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers must be members of the Parliament. In case they are not members, they are required to get elected to the Parliament within 6 months of their appointment. The government in reality is run by the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. This means that the real executive powers are vested in the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. So, children, the party which attains a majority in the Lok Sabha election nominates their leader as the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister then selects his trustworthy and efficient colleagues from within the party and forms the Council of Ministers. The President administers oath to the ministers. The Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers must be members of the Parliament. In case they are not members, they are required to get elected to the Parliament within 6 months of their appointment. So, children, here you have come to know about the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Now, I want to discuss the functions of the Prime Minister. The foremost task of the Prime Minister is to form his Council of Ministers. While doing this, the Prime Minister gives priority to trustworthy colleagues while considering their administrative experience, governance skills, efficiency, and technical expertise. After deciding upon the members of the Council of Ministers, the Prime Minister allocates portfolios to them. The Prime Minister leads the Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister chairs all the meetings of the Council of Ministers. After allocation of portfolios, the Prime Minister has to maintain coordination in the working of various departments, facilitate cooperation amongst the departments, supervise the working of these departments in order to maintain efficacy and efficiency, etc. The Prime Minister also has various other responsibilities, such as to raise the image of the country in the international arena and work towards achieving a favorable opinion globally, to develop trust among people, and to provide strong support to people who are victims of any disaster, etc. So, children, here you have come to know about the functions of the Prime Minister: to select trustworthy and efficient colleagues as ministers who had administrative experience, governance skills and efficiency, and technical expertise; to allocate portfolios or departments to them; to maintain coordination in the working of various departments; to supervise over the working of various departments in order to maintain efficacy and efficiency; to chair all the meetings of the Council of Ministers; to lead the Council of Ministers; to provide strong support to the people during disasters; and to build and raise the image of the country in the world, and work towards creating a favorable opinion towards the country. So, children, here you have come to know about the functions of a Prime Minister, and also here I want to discuss about one point, that is what is meant by jumbo ministry. Jumbo ministry, this refers to huge council of ministers. There was a trend to keep large council of ministers in our country. Later a constitutional amendment was made to limit the size of council of ministers. As per this amendment, the number of ministers in the council should not be more than 50%, 15% of the total number of members in the Lok Sabha. So, children, what is jumbo ministry? Earlier, there was a trend to keep large council of ministers. Such huge councils were known as jumbo ministry. Later, a constitutional amendment was made to limit the size of the council of ministers. As per this amendment, the number of ministers in the council should not be more than 15% of the total number of members in the Lok Sabha. So, children, today I have discussed about the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Then you have come to know the functions of the Prime Minister, and here also I have given you some idea about jumbo ministry.